Hello, welcome back to Toni Unleashed, the podcast. And I'm excited to invite back Lindsey. Lindsey is our assistant manager in the Cranberry location. But she honestly is our resident cat expert. And we are talking all about cat litter today. Welcome, Lindsey.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. And Lindsey's home today. So she's home, I'm home. This is our first time videoing on Google Meet as well. So this will be our first official YouTube podcast, I guess.
I'm excited.
Right?
Maybe, I don't know.
I know. We'll decide later. Okay, so cat litter. I mean, come on, Linz. How complicated can cat litter really be?
There's a lot of options out there.
There's a lot of options.
So as somebody with 8 cats, I feel like I've pretty much used every litter on the market. Not even exaggerating.
Really?
Yeah.
So at what point you used Tidy Cat?
Probably not Tidy Cat, but we've used cheaper clay litters. I've used more expensive, better clay litters like Dr. Elsey's. We've used wheat-based, corn-based, wood-based. We're on grass seed. I feel like we finally found the one that works best for me and my cats. Mm-hmm. We've been on that for probably 2 years now. I went through a stage where I tried to use those pellets. That wasn't a big hit with my cats.
So I think, I mean, you can disagree, but first of all, do you think the average consumer knows that there are that many options in cat litter as far as what they're made from?
I mean, if you're shopping for litter, there's a whole aisle just dedicated to it. So I feel like they do see a lot of the options. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the most common would be our clumping litter. It's been around the longest. Everyone kind of knows it. Clumping litter works well, does its job.
Yeah.
I find it dusty. Even your higher quality clumping litters, I still feel like they do produce some amount of dust. My one cat has asthma, so we try to stay clear of that, as much as we can, just try to mitigate any sort of extra dust or debris in the air as we can. But I feel like it does work well for a lot of people. It's kind of your tried and true cat litter is your clumping. It's heavy. I know they have some of those like lightweight, clay litters now, which might be a better option, but some of those 40-pound bags do get pretty heavy, depending on where you live too. If you have to carry it up steps into your apartment or something, it can be a lot. Some other popular clumping, the world's best, corn based. There's also some wheat based, like the Sweet Scoop litter. Yep. Tofu litter, I feel like it's becoming really popular lately. Yeah. We have not used that one. I've never tried that one. I feel like just in the past year or two, that one's become pretty popular as an option. There's, wood-based, or the one we're on now is the grass seed, which I think has, finally found the one.
Really? The grass seed is your favorite after all this?
I think so. And so all of these are all clumping options. So obviously you have your clay. Our more natural options would be a corn, a wheat, grass, wood, tofu. Preferably unscented. Yeah. If we can. A lot of the artificial scents are just added for, I guess, human convenience. But I don't even think, now we have like poop smell with lavender, you know? It's not
Yeah.
masking anything. It's kind of just
that's how I feel
contributing
about
to it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's how I feel about dog poop bags. Like, why would that's a lot of smells going on. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
And a lot of cats don't like the artificial scents either. Just
Uh-huh.
like dogs, when they go to the bathroom, they, you know, release their natural scent.
Yes.
And they like to smell that. Like, we can't smell some of that, but they like to mark and know, like, you know, where they go, and that's their territory, that's their place.
Yep.
And some of the scents kind of deter them from wanting to go there. So if you can find a good litter that helps with odor, and that's why I like clumping, because when your cat goes and they bury it, it clumps fast. So then it's kind of holding in everything. And ideally, everyone should be scooping at least once a day. So yeah, unscented clumping for me is the way to go.
Unscented and clumping.
Whether, you know, you like a clay, you like corn based, you like grass seed, I found that works the best. I know a lot of people do like non-clumping litter. There's a couple houses I pet sit for that have one of those, like, I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like the Tidy Cats Breeze setups. So it's a litter pan. They kind of like engineered, I guess, their own pellets. So it's a litter pan. It's like a sifting pan. You put their pellets in, and underneath it's almost like a puppy pad. So the cat goes, the pellets help absorb some of the odor in the liquid. The rest falls underneath, gets caught by the puppy pad.
Okay.
And then you would just have to scoop out the poop. And a lot of people like pine pellets as well. Kind of similar concept, a lot cheaper though. But yeah, you get like a sifting pan, pine pellets in, cat goes, you just have to scoop out the hard waste, and then the urine gets absorbed by the pellets. And then a lot of the pellets, after they've absorbed so much, they kind of break down, and then you kind of sift it out.
Oh.
To me, I have 8 cats and they're all raw fed, so they pee a lot. So something like that wasn't ideal for me, but I know a lot of people who only have a couple cats that it does work very well for. And people like the pellets because they track less, bigger pieces, you know, not tracking as much. They do track still, I find, but not quite as much as like a finer granule litter.
And what are those pellets made of?
So I don't know what the Tidy Cats ones are, because like I said, it's their specific litter. But the pine ones are just like straight natural pine pellet litter. And they have like a natural pleasant odor.
Right.
That's not, you know, a chemical fragrance added, synthetic.
Okay. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical. Okay. So.
Oh, wait, I didn't talk about.
What?
Sorry. So with some of the other like natural litters, like the corn, the wheat, the tofu.
Yeah.
They're also like grain based. So if your cat has an allergy, or if we're not scooping every day, because grains are prone to building like mycotoxins if they have moisture. So I would just be cautious of using those if your cat either has an allergy, because, you know, they're in and out of the box constantly grooming themselves, or if we're not being diligent and scooping every day, we can have some growth of things.
Do you want me to put an under like a subliminal message playing throughout this whole recording? Scoop every day, scoop every day, scoop every day.
Yes,
Jackson could probably do that for us.
please. At least I scoop twice a day, but I have 8 cats and I have 5 boxes. So I kind of have to scoop twice a day just to make sure they have clean
Right.
area to go at all times.
Right. But and don't we typically advise customers that it's the amount of litter boxes you should have is one beyond
+1.
how many plus one?
Yeah. So I
So
feel like
you should have 9, but that would
yeah.
take up your whole living room.
So I feel like that's a good,
Guideline.
yeah,
Yeah.
basic guideline. All my cats, they get along and none of them are super like territorial. And with my 5 boxes, they're still spread out through the house. But I feel like if you do have cats that are territorial or already have, a history of litter box issues, then I would definitely follow that rule.
Okay.
I had 6 at one time and no one used the other one, so it was
Huh.
just kind of there.
Right. Interesting. Okay. So are you, I mean, we do sell clay litter,
Mhm.
right? We do. It is the most economical. Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
So the Tidy Cats and the Arm& Hammer. What are some
Yeah.
other really? Those are all clay based. So
Yes.
yeah. So if you go to Walmart and go down the cat litter aisle, that's 90% clay.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. And is all clay clumpable?
No, they do make non-clumping clay. Um, a lot of shelters like it, or people that are like fostering kittens. I've never experienced my kittens trying to eat the litter ever.
Oh, so if it clumps, some will try to eat it?
No, I guess the fear is if they eat it, it clumps with moisture so it can
Block them.
expand in their stomach.
Right. Right.
None of my cats have ever had that issue. To me, a better option, I also know a lot of fosters and stuff like to just use that like paper litter, especially for kittens. I think non-clumping clay is the worst thing ever, but
yeah.
it's
And
just
talk
really
about
messy.
tracking. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you, we talk about cats with blockages, cats with urinary disease. So cats typically, the first thing they do when they come out of a litter box is start to clean themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So ingestion is inevitable of litter.
I'd say, yeah, to
Yeah.
a small degree, they definitely consume some. That's again kind of going back to why I like the grass seed litter. If we think just in general about the United States, most of our crops are sprayed,
Yeah.
especially if it's like corn, wheat, a lot of it's sprayed with pesticides. So I guess you just have to kind of be cautious of that. It's still
Right.
within the litter. So yeah, safer, more natural, the better.
Right. I mean, does it make sense to think that because they are ingesting small amounts of clumping clay that absorbs moisture, that not only could potentially build up in the stomach, but build up in the digestive system anywhere almost?
Yeah, I feel like that have to be. I mean, I have known cats that will like eat the litter.
Yeah. But you think
But
it would have to be a significant amount to truly
yeah, I think
have them
just
blocked.
normal everyday kind of just grooming. And if you have a litter mat, um,
That
when your
tracks.
cat,
Yeah.
walks out, it gets a majority off of its paws, and then the rest probably gets tracked on your regular floor. But yeah, I'd say some amount of litter or dust. That's why we try to stay away from clay, because you can see when I used to use clay, they would go in and their like paws would come out dusty.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So the dust would also be a contributor to upper respiratory infection. Do you agree?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we see upper respiratory infections all the time, all the times with all the time. It's
Hmm.
crazy. So that's usually the
Dr. Elsey's makes that
relief.
yes, which I've never used that one. Because when I found out Henna had asthma, I kind of just stopped clay altogether. But I've heard people like that one. If you want to stick with a clay that's significantly less dusty, to probably go with that one.
I think there might be some naturally occurring herbs and things in that, just like he does with the cat attract.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps open up those passageways and that sort of thing. So, well, since you switched from clay, is the one cat with asthma still having issues? Did it improve? What happened?
It did improve. When I moved into this place, though, it kind of started again, just different pollens in the area, different,
Stress,
yeah,
even from the move.
correct. And just people who lived here before, just their,
Yeah.
whether I can't smell it, but, just if they had other pets, dander.
Was your carpeting new?
It was.
Aha.
Yeah, carpet was new. I
That
changed.
off gases a lot of chemicals.
Well, that probably explains some of it.
That
Because, yeah, she was good for a couple months, and then we moved in here. I mean, she's still good. She's not on like steroids or anything.
uh-huh.
But she does have episodes. Just try to keep everything clean. We have a humidifier going.
Did you ever try adding colloidal silver in?
Yeah, I put that in their water.
You do.
Hmm. I mean, she's on. We
Do you
do
have
like
a
the
nebulizer for her?
No, she's not that bad yet. She's Yeah, and she only has small. I don't even want to call them like attacks. Maybe like, I mean, I guess that's what you can call it. But she's only had like 2 of those. She
Mm-hmm.
just sneezes a lot.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Well, you can nebulize colloidal silver.
Okay.
You can use it as eye drops. You might even want to think about, if you can, like do a drop in her mouth every once in a while.
We do the CBDEs.
They do ease.
Mm-hmm.
You do it with her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I would try colloidal silver, see if it makes a difference.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyhow, we got off topic. Okay. So, we're trying to avoid clay for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Oh, you
now,
did. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go.
What litter mats do you like?
I have the Americat one now,
Oh,
and
okay.
then that's like where my main. So I have 2 bathrooms in my place. The one spare bathroom has basically been the cat's bathroom. That's where the majority of their litter pans are, and we have one of those down. I have a top entry litter pan in their room,
Uh-huh.
but I don't really have anything under that one because when they jump out, it kind of catches some of the litter, like how the
Uh-huh.
setup is.
Uh-huh.
And then my other one, I also don't have a mat under that one. It's just mainly where their other litter pans are, the majority of them.
Okay. That's so you like Americat.
It's
So
easy, yeah, easy to vacuum, or you can
uh
like pick it up and just put it back in. Some of the ones, it's like the little like, I don't know how to explain it.
indoor
The
outdoor.
litter, the litter almost like falls under it.
Okay.
Um,
And it's
I
hard
don't
to get
know.
out.
Yeah, there's some where you can like pour it back in easily, but some of the other ones with like the little grooves that are supposed to catch it, I
Yes.
feel like they're hard to clean or like sweep up or vacuum. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
like the Meerkat one. So if
Mm-hmm.
they get a lot of litter out, I just like vacuum it up, or I can sweep it back and just dump
Mm-hmm.
it back in.
So Americat is a made in the USA litter mat from a local woman that
Mhm.
just is obsessed with her cats like you are.
Perfect. We love it.
So yeah, she okay, so that's Americat, Americat. Um and all right, so that's good. Okay, so where were we with
So I
fragrance?
think we got, yeah, the litter down. Um, a lot of customers that come in. Oh, I have so many people tell me that their litter pans in the basement.
Uh-huh. Bad.
So
Is that bad? She's afraid to
yeah,
say that. She's afraid to say how bad that is.
maybe we can talk about like litter box setup, like where we should put it in the house.
So tell me why the basement is not a good place.
So, I mean, just like people, if you had to go, you probably don't want to have to go all the way down a flight of steps into, I'm presuming, a cold basement just to use the litter pan.
Yes.
Especially for like older cats or kittens,
Yes.
you're probably just setting yourself up for accidents. Also, if you have like a multi, floor house, you should have at least one on every floor.
Hmm.
I don't, mine's just one floor, so, but yeah, having on multiple floors, but it should also be in cats, they like an open space, you know, visibility. A lot of people, yeah, I get litter boxes aren't, the most aesthetically pleasing things just sitting around, but it's about like the cat's comfort too. So they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be shoved in like a closet or down in a basement. Just make
Yeah.
it somewhere where they can get easily in and out of.
Yeah.
I find most cats prefer open litter pans too.
Uh,
I know a lot of people like the enclosed ones. Um,
but that's not a natural environment for them.
Correct. And I think it just harbors more smell because you're almost just trapping it in
Yeah.
than it does. I feel like that's the gimmick of them. That's why people like them, right? Because they think they're gonna, you know, not make the house smell, but I
It
think it
makes
makes it
sense.
smell worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, just getting a litter pan big enough, large enough. Your cat should be from nose to tail. It should be that long. And they should be able to fully 360 in it. I have 4 large stainless steel pans that if 2 of my cats wanted to fit in it at the same time, they could. I've seen 2 of them be in it at the same time, but they're large pans. And then we do have a top entry litter pan. I feel like those are good for especially people who maybe have cats and dogs. So the dog's not, trying to go in and have a snack in the
Right.
litter pan.
Right.
But also with those, again, not ideal for kittens or probably senior cats because they have to jump up to even get into it. So I feel like just a standard large pan is your go-to.
So make it convenient, make it comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of people underestimate, because cats are they'll just jump and pop up and do all sorts of crazy things, that they don't have joint issues, or they don't always feel like walking down the steps or up the steps. So, but cats have joint issues just like dogs do. So,
yes.
Yeah. Even stepping into it sometimes can be a problem. So,
Mm-hmm. So like the lower pans for the senior cats, easier to, they basically just walk in, walk out. They don't even have to really, like you said, step up.
Yeah. And they'll be shallow, but they're still useful.
Yeah. And they still have high walls, so you don't have to worry about peeing outside.
Yeah. Well, we hear a lot about cats peeing all over the house, or all of a sudden cats totally fine. So what do we normally advise customers? I mean, we normally say, how many cats do you have? Where are your litter? Like we go through this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. When people come in and say, their cat just started peeing or pooping outside. Sorry, risotto's like in the way. I normally ask them a couple questions. One, have you been to the vet to rule out anything? I feel like is your first step.
Agreed.
Like, are we dealing with a health issue, or is it just behavioral? If they tell me, yes, we've taken the cat to the vet, there's no blockage, no UTI, no cystitis, whatever, we're all good. The next question, is there any like home changes? Did we get another cat, a dog? Like, is there something that's making the cat maybe avoid the litter pan? Whether, I don't know, the other cat's like blocking, the cat trying to go, or the dog has stuck its head in the litter pan, when the cat was going. Again, another reason why I like open litter pans. Or even like kids, like, there's so many factors, even just moving stuff around. Like, did we change where we are keeping the litter box, or did we change litter by chance? Maybe the cat isn't adjusting well to the new litter. So if we go down that route and they answer no to everything, nothing changed, no new pets, no new litter, didn't move the litter pan. My next question I ask is your cat declawed?
Oh.
So, and I'd say maybe more than half the time when we get to that question, they'll say yes. Not against a lot. Yeah, a lot of people adopt
our
cats,
customers. Half of our customers?
No, well, I'm saying like if I'm trying to get to like the root cause of why the cat has not, just suddenly started not using the litter pan. I'd say a lot of times when we get to is the cat declawed question, it's a yes. And a lot of people don't even declaw their own cat. They might have adopted it. There's a lot of cats in shelters that have been declawed, and that's one of the main reasons cats are, given up, is because of litter box issues. But if we can solve the problem, then we wouldn't have to, go down that route. But a lot of times when cats are declawed, it's painful. And if it's been so many years since they've been declawed, it hurts when they walk on the litter. Mm-hmm. So that's why they don't want to go in the box, because they're associating with pain. So they'll find somewhere else to pee.
Wow.
So I'd say in that instance, if your cat is declawed and having, issues with your current litter, I found the most, I guess, non hurtful on their paws is just the paper litter, which kind of sucks. But I mean, if that's what you have to use to get your cat to go, then I would use that.
So I never thought about the declawing issue.
It's very common. Cats, it normally doesn't happen till when they get a little bit older, but I've seen even like 5, 6 year old cats who were declawed when they were young stop using the litter pan because their paws have been, it's like removing their first knuckle, but some of that bone grows back, and then they have like,
Oh,
just how it's done isn't very well
it's
either.
barbaric.
Yeah. So they have a lot of pain associated with that. And then if you think about, they already have pain, and then they're walking on a really like gritty litter, or even like the pellet, like a harder pellet, it's just very uncomfortable for them.
So I know cats can't talk, but explain to me why they think it's painful to walk on litter. Is it painful them? Is it different for them to walk on something soft and movable more so than like a solid wood floor or ceramic floor? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think just the litter in general,
Yeah.
it kind of, their paws are already, like you said, mutilated, and they have pain in them. So when you're walking on something that gritty that kind of goes in between their paws too, it can be uncomfortable. So a lot of times they'll go on like a towel or the bed, or people leave clothes down or laundry or something like that. They'll go on something soft where it's not getting into their paw. That's why I said like a paper litter that a lot of people use for kittens might be good, because it's soft and it's not gritty, but it's not going to like clump or do anything. So you're going to have to keep up with it more.
Yeah.
But if you don't want your cat going somewhere else, then I feel like that's a good option.
Oh, I feel terrible for cats that have been
So, but
declawed.
yeah, same. But if we get to that question and people still tell me like, no, my cat's not declawed, so we don't have any, medical issues, nothing changed in the house, my cat's not declawed, then I would say it's definitely behavioral. So something's going on to where we have to make the litter box a positive experience again. Even if you might have not seen something, like maybe your cat was in the litter pan one time and I don't know, it was like thundering, or there was a loud noise that really scared them.
Yeah.
So even just moving the litter pan around, maybe just not associating it with that area. Yeah, using the Dr. Elsey's like cat attract to try to draw them to the box.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really hard when it's behavioral, but I still think if you go down all the routes of moving the box around, maybe getting a new box, even putting a box where the cat was peeing.
Right.
Again, it might be literally in the middle of your living room floor,
Right.
but just to associate the box again with using it in a positive, experience, even if you have to do that for a couple months.
Yeah. So could CBD help with that potential fear of the litter box or something? If it was a weird trauma that happened and now they associate the litter pan with something that freaked them out, do we think that the CBD may help that, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have just a overall anxious, nervous cat,
right,
giving them CBD could help just their
right,
overall,
right.
well-being, and kind of bring them down. So yeah, I think that's, something to try.
Right. And I wonder if the ease would help with the arthritic, painful paws.
For cats, yeah. I've been declawed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next is, so we talked about the different types of litter. Your favorite. We want fragrance free. We want mostly an open pan if possible.
In a good
Shallow.
location.
Good location, 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 location. So if you can avoid having it in the basement. So even somebody that has like a big, beautiful finished basement, you still would say you could have one down there, but you should still give them the option.
Correct.
To go on the main level.
Yes. Or even if you have like a 3-story house, so you have like a basement, main floor, second floor.
Yep.
I definitely don't think their only option should be all the way in the basement. Even if you have like you said, beautiful finished basement, that's great. Maybe at least a basement and then the second floor, so they're not having to go down 2 flights of steps just to go to the bathroom.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Give them options,
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I like to go in the master bathroom. Sometimes I like to go in the powder room.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Health issues. Upper respiratory infections we talked about. So we need to stay fragrance free.
And preferably as dust free as possible.
And as preferably as dust free as possible. And even if the bag says dust free or 99% dust free, that's not always the case.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably lying.
Well, there's nothing.
There are some that are significantly less dusty than others. Like, if you go to Walmart and you get the cheapest generic, bag of litter, it's going to be a whole cloud is going to come out when you pour it.
Right. Because they can still say 97% dust free because that's marketing. Yeah. Okay. What other health issues could potentially come from low quality cat litter? Nothing. Is that it? No, there's a lot more. She's looking at her notes. You can say whatever you want, Lindsey. What do you think of that? What do you think about that new pH?
Oh, like the pretty litter?
Is that pretty litter? What do you think about that?
So I think that can be beneficial to people that have had cats with a history of like urinary issues.
Yeah.
I've never used it because I've never had the need to use it. It's also like expensive and I have 5 litter boxes. But if you only had a couple cats and, a couple boxes, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. But yeah, it like changes color based on like the pH of the urine, which can tell you, if your cat has UTI, just different like illnesses, which I think could be awesome. I know it doesn't, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't clump either. So I don't know. I just don't like non-clumping litter, but I know there's people out there who don't mind it. But yeah, I know a lot of people.
You scoop twice a day, which is why you like clumping litter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And my cats just pee a lot. They're raw fed. They pee a lot, so.
But they shouldn't drink that much if they're raw fed, hence not peeing that much. I'm surprised you said that.
No, so yeah, they don't drink a lot, but they're still getting an excessive amount of moisture in their food, so they do pee a lot. And I add like bone broth, goat's milk, like they're getting all the liquids.
Yes.
Plus thrall. So yeah.
Yes.
They don't pee. I should preface by saying if your cat's peeing frequently but not a lot, that's an issue. My cats only pee like 2 or 3 times a day, but their clumps are big.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because everything's flowing through. If your cat is peeing, if you see them going in and out of the box, but they're only peeing like a dime size, that's an issue. You either have a blockage, UTI, something's going on.
Right.
Yeah. So they don't pee like a lot in the aspect like frequently. It's just a lot amount wise.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Total sense. And very, very good points.
So then we can also talk about my favorite topic.
Okay. What's your favorite?
The self-cleaning litter pans.
Oh, okay. I forgot about this part.
Yeah.
Self-cleaning litter pans. Okay. And they make like the double tray with the sifter. Are you talking that? Or are you talking the electric ones?
Yeah.
Like those robots.
Yeah. More referring to like the litter robots. I have very strong opinions on these. So I think, well, for one, they're $700.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the money, go for it. But I've read a lot of reviews. It's electronic device, they malfunction, something goes wrong. I just feel like to spend $700 on a litter pan that could potentially have issues is a lot. But that's not the main reason I don't like them. Back to people should be scooping every day. That's not only for like your cat's litter pan, to be clean, but I think more cat parents need to be involved in their cat's like health. So by you scooping every day, you can see, okay, how many times did my cat go? Mm-hmm. Do they have blood in their urine, in their stool? Do they have diarrhea? There's so many like signs that you can catch things early just by looking at their litter pan.
Yeah.
And cats are notorious for hiding pain very well. So a lot of times if we're not being diligent with scooping, you might not know something's wrong until you start to really see the health signs, which then it's very late into it. So with the self-cleaning litter pans, I think if people aren't physically able to scoop every day, whatever that might be, I think they can be a good option. So everything, cat goes in, pees or poops, the thing rotates, dumps all the waste into a tray. But then that tray you can like pull out. There's like a bag in there, and then you would, empty that every so often, depending on how many cats you have and how much waste you have in there. So even if you have one of those, I think you should still be checking in the like little drawer tray at least once a day.
Huh. Okay. Well,
so it's okay if you have one and you don't want to scoop, but I think you should still be looking at like,
sure.
Did my cat have diarrhea today?
Yeah.
Looking at the signs of it.
I mean, it sounds gross, but it is, like you said, the best indicator for monitoring health.
Correct. And I think a lot of people get them because it's just kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Like I got this $700 litter pan. It's going to scoop for me. I only have to empty the bag once a week. If you have like 1 or 2 cats, I'm pretty sure it can go like a week. Yeah. So what if you empty it by the end of the week and then you realize your cat had diarrhea that whole week? There's blood in the urine, blood in the stool. Yep. And then it's like, we're already a week deep into this,
Yep.
When you could have caught it the day it happened and try to avoid some of those issues.
Makes total sense.
I think they do work good though. My brother has one and he likes it, but he also has a normal litter pan too. So again, I think if you have a self-cleaning litter pan for whatever reason, I think you should still give your cat the option to use a normal one. Again, for like kittens and seniors, I don't think it's ideal. It's kind of high. They kind of have to hop into it. So, seniors might be deterred by that. Kittens might be scared of it. It does make a noise.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Doesn't the noise freak them out?
It's pretty quiet, but again, if you have a really skittish cat, it might deter them from not wanting to use the litter at all. So I think you should always have another option as well.
Yeah.
If you get the, whatever self-cleaning litter pan. And they can always malfunction too if it, rotates, but then doesn't rotate back. So then there's no litter in it. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many
ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. Just go with the good old-fashioned litter pan.
Right?
And scoop daily.
At least. What about, do you have to use a certain type of litter with those robot ones? Do you know?
It just has to be clumping.
Mm.
I know, at least for the litter robot, they sell their own litter. I think it's just clay clumping. I don't know if you have to use that specific litter. I'm pretty sure if it's just a clumping litter, it will work.
Okay. Yeah, I've always looked at those things at shows and I was like, there's no way I would ever carry them based on the cost and just the fact that if it breaks, they're going to bring it back to me. So I'm not. How do you clean it too? It's got to be complicated.
I think the circle part comes off the base and you can rinse it out.
Gotcha.
I've watched videos. I don't think it's super hard. It is pretty user friendly for the most part. There's an app. Yeah, I mean, I think they're a good idea in theory, but I think you should still, check the waste bin and offer your cat another place to go, normal litter pan or whatever that may be.
Okay. All right. Advice from Lindsey and expertise from Lindsey. Did we cover every topic of cat litter?
I think so. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I think we did good.
So let me ask you this. Are we judging people that use clay? Or are we okay with clay?
I think it's very situational. I think you should use whatever works best for you and your pets.
Okay.
I just, have my personal reasons why I don't use clay, but clay has worked well for many people, many cats. So I think, whatever works best for you.
And if you're monitoring health by scooping daily, then we're good.
Yes.
Okay. From a cost perspective, do you think that your preferred, the grass seed, is it that much more expensive? Have you really crunched the numbers on the corn, the wheat, the grass, the paper, all of the above?
I use 2 of I think they're 30-pound of the grass seed a month. And that's for if I'm just topping off. If I'm doing a full litter pan change, then I probably need 4 bags.
But you don't do that every month.
No, I'll clean up and wipe off if there's anything on the sides, but I fully dump the litter and rinse out my pans, I'd say every other month. But again, I have stainless steel pans too. So Ooh, another thing to mention, if you have plastic pans, which most of them are plastic, you should also be changing like the whole pan, like getting rid of it and getting a new one like every year, if not every other year.
Yeah.
Because the cat's scratching, it's forming abrasions in the plastic, which then can harbor bacteria.
Right.
So if you think your litter pan smells a lot, it's probably time for a new one.
Yeah. I mean, I think people don't realize that plastic is porous.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, bacteria and odor can definitely be held in plastic. So, stainless steel is the way to go with everything.
It is. But yeah, I go through 2 bags, and I think they're what, like $28 for the
I
30
don't know off the
pound.
top of my head.
Um,
And that's for 8 cats. So it costs you about $60 a month in litter.
Probably, yeah.
Huh. I don't think that's too bad for 8 cats
No.
and 5 pans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I wonder how a bag of Tidy Cat how long a bag of Tidy Cat would last.
I don't know. We haven't used clay in so long, but even like I used to get Dr. Elsey's. I'm trying to think. I think theirs are 30 or 40 pounds, but I don't know how, like, the cost off the top of my head. But again, I feel like I went through the same amount of clay as I do grass seed,
Oh,
bag
okay.
wise, like pound per pound bag.
Okay. Okay.
I think I go through the same amount.
You know, it might be interesting and helpful for customers if we maybe did a little bit of a cost analysis
Mm-hmm.
to help them decide for newer cat customers that aren't already in a groove, because, once a cat is in a groove, it's hard to shake them up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And I've never had trouble switching litter. I would mix it, kind of how you would do food,
yeah.
do,
Yeah.
whatever, 25, 75, 50, 50 until you're the
Yep.
full litter.
Yep.
None of my cats ever had an issue. They didn't really like the pellet, but that's a totally different texture on their paws. So maybe
Okay.
that's why they didn't like it. But any of your typical like granule clumping litters, they were fine with switching in between.
Okay. All right. And the cat attract that we recommend for customers that the cat is no longer going in the pan. So they make the additive that you can sprinkle in with your own litter. So if you don't want to change litters, there's that option as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that cat attract just sprinkled on top of a cat's existing litter would suffice to kind of attract them back?
So I've thankfully never had litter box issues, but just from talking to customers or like reading reviews, I think people have had really good success with that.
Mm,
And I think a lot of them did just add it to, their pre-existing litter, something that the cat was used to, because we don't want to, do too many things at once. But yeah, I think it's a good product. I think people have really liked it and thought it worked. So
Did you ever try the Waruga Hinoki wood?
I have not, because it was out of stock for like ever. And then when we got it back in, yeah, I just never tried it. But that's more of a pellet too. So I'd be curious to see if my cats would like it.
Yeah,
It's like a smaller one though, but it still
it
kind of
is.
has that like pellety shape.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it's as formed,
Correct.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Hmm.
When we did, before they ran out of it, and we did carry it consistently, customers raved about odor control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have, I don't
Odor
know.
issues.
I don't, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't, I think
Well, your
that's
cats
like,
are raw fed. That's part of it.
I think, yeah, that's like one of the biggest like misconceptions. Like when I tell people I have 8 cats, I can just see what's like running through, you know, their head. Like,
Yeah.
oh, her house is probably so stinky, like so much fur, but it's really not. Yeah, it is, you know, raw
Yeah.
fed, stainless steel pans, scooped twice a day. Wouldn't
Yeah.
even know I had cats. So it
Do
is
your
all about, go ahead.
It is all about the food. Do your
Hmm.
cats shed very much?
No, I don't
Yeah.
think they do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Layla does not seem to be shedding, like,
Hmm.
at all. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not the breed. I just it might just be the food,
Yeah.
but I don't know. TBD. So, any last closing thoughts?
I don't think so.
Scoop
Except,
daily.
yeah, I was gonna say scoop daily. That's all.
All right. That is all for now. Thanks, Lindsey. And until we see you the next time, Scoop Daily.
Scoop daily. Bye.